Moving on to the main topic for today's show. The one, the only, Laz Berman's Elvis Presley.
Laz Berman.
That's his name.
Baz Lurhmann.
There we go.
I thought you were joking.
I thought you were joking too.
Laszlo Berman.
Yeah, you know, his bizarro director friend. Oh boy. But Baz Luhrmann's Elvis.
I said his name the whole way to the theater, and Liz was like, "What is that?" And then it didn't say his name in the opening credits, but I got her on the end.
Yes, it does.
It just says Elvis Presley.
It says Baz Luhrmann on like there's like a big like poker chippy kind of thing.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it's in between one of the 15 like welcome to Las Vegas shots.
Oh, okay. So we'll do non-spoilers first.
Again,
I'm gonna exit the chat just because I do intend to see this movie and I don't want to hear about it. So, peace.
bye,
Okay,
Nick.
bye, Nick.
Thank you. Are we gonna get him back for?
I don't know. I didn't
see.
talk about that. I thought about
We'll see.
it's been on my mind, but like, just cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
Baz Luhrmann, are y'all familiar with?
Laz
like,
Berman.
I guess not.
He made Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I
Which
know
is-
that.
I've never seen. He made Great Gatsby, which is an awful film. Don't watch it.
Really?
Oh, it sucks so bad.
I didn't hate it. His other like very, I want to say like cult famous one is the Romeo and Juliet with Leo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah.
Which
I've
has
seen
the like the motif of that Radiohead song throughout the whole thing, which is cool. I saw this in high school and I was like, fuck yeah, that's an awesome movie.
I saw it in high school too, and I remember there's a nude scene in it. And they and well,
Oh, they fast forwarded through that.
yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Is that like they didn't just leave it on, but
They're like, well. Yeah, it's
we also watched Schindler's List too.
we did that. We watched American History X in high school.
Why?
It was because it was I went to like an art high school, so we watched like history through film, I think was the class. So we got
okay.
to watch a lot of it's like, yeah, we watched Schindler's List and then we watched American History X and I was just like, holy fuck.
All right. You think they'll ever make you watch the Elvis movie?
But yeah, for when I go back to high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Laz Berman. Baz Lurhmann.
Baz Lurhmann.
Well, okay,
So-
so a couple things I want to say right off the bat. This was not the movie I was expecting when I saw it. I was expecting a movie from Elvis's perspective himself. And I feel like it's non-spoiler. It's actually like a PSA to be like, hey, the Elvis movie is really good, but it's from this perspective of his manager.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting, and I had the same kind of like reaction.
Yeah.
Literally the first 2 minutes of the movie, you get the plot device setting up that it's Tom Parker, or Colonel Tom Parker, which is his manager, played by Tom Hanks. He's dying because he's, an old fuck, and it's whenever. I don't know when he died. It doesn't matter. He's an asshole.
He stole half of Elvis's money.
More than that, and
Yeah.
probably embezzled, and he's an asshole, and we figure that all through the movie. But you learn that he's being like pulled to the hospital because he's old and he's dying, and this is kind of like his vision of his life happening.
Yeah.
So it's a recontextualization through his eyes of the past, where
Right.
he's the narrator.
Right, and it's got this fever dream like quality to it because really it's like his DMT
Yeah, I was
trip before he
about to
dies.
say he's dumping all his DMT.
Yeah, he's shitting his pants for one last time. He's on the way out, and goddamn it, does that ICU smell?
Oh.
Anyway,
Jess, what did you think it was gonna? Did you have a similar kind of take?
Yeah, like first of all, I didn't really know about Tom Parker, like who he was and his relationship with
Me
him.
neither.
So then I really didn't think that it was going to be from his perspective because that kind of doesn't really seem genuine. But I mean, I didn't hate it overall. It was definitely interesting, but not what I was expecting. But I think that's the Baz Luhrmann charm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, looking at it as it was unfolding, I was like, if anybody else probably did this, I would be a little more mad. But I was like, this is kind of what to expect from a Laz Berman movie.
yo, there was not
Ozzy
as
B.
much drug usage as I thought there was gonna be.
Do you want to get into the criticisms first and then the good stuff, or what do you?
It's one of those things where it's like I walked in wanting to see an Elvis biopic, and I got that. It's just got a super signature style and a way of telling its own story, and like, it's not like it's not your typical biopic where it's like you watch them rise to the heights of their career and then just crash all the way down because like, you know, like MC Hammer, like too much money or like too much coke or like
Elvis famously
like Elvis
like had a decline.
Elvis was famous at like what's a 17, 18 or whatever.
Early on,
and he was
for
just
like 39,
for like fucking years and then just fucking tanked. And like he didn't tank where like he was still incredible by the time he died. Like he was still an amazing singer. But like he was so strung out on drugs and like so
fat as shit,
taken
like, so
advantage,
unhealthy, like
taken advantage of by his handlers. You know what I mean? Like so that like you didn't really need to see that story. It was more like highlights. The one thing that I am critical of the movie over is they just kind of gloss over the Priscilla stuff. And if, as a joke, but seriously, I was wondering how they were going to handle that. Mm-hmm. Because Elvis is just one of the many like rich and famous people that, you know, we glorify in our society that is also a rampant pedophile. Like,
yeah, well,
you know,
the whole,
like, I don't think that's a hot take in 2022.
No. I think from the whole perspective of the film, like obviously Elvis's estate had to approve this and they endorsed it and everything.
Oh yeah.
So
Priscilla herself said it's the best. It's the best one they've ever done.
So you do get the like neutering of Elvis in a lot of different ways. Like it does not go into like his sex addictions, his drug addictions, like addictions to food, all of that kind of thing. You get, and I think they do that craftily by doing it through Tom Parker's visualization. Because I wouldn't call it like a biopic. It's literally just a musical told by him as a narrator.
Yo, the musical aspect of this I thought actually was kind of a disappointment.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe that's because like I have a different. Well, I wasn't going into this being like, dude, this shit's gonna be sung the whole way through and it's gonna be awesome. I went in expecting to at least hear some signature Elvis tunes at times of his career, right? And like the first scene we're ramping up to that, where I like the opening where they kind of hold back showing his face until he's on stage and making all ladies go wild. I like that one. The second one where it's like, okay, now they're on TV. Like, what are they gonna play? And then it just cuts and like to whatever it's like. No, I wanted to see that show. Like, I wanted to see that performance. You know, I wanted to be in that moment with them. You know, I was into it though. That's my biggest disappointment is what I didn't get. The stuff that we do get is really fucking good though.
That's a good point.
You know,
like for a lot of the film score itself actually is really interesting because you have a lot of Elvis songs that are either like remixed, rearranged, or you have like some hip hop, you have like some kind of like trap-ish kind of like beats in there. Like, is that a Nicki Minaj song that happens at one time or something?
Oh yeah, and I mean like that was they did that shit in
where you had like Great
Mr.
Gatsby.
Berman put that in his Great Gatsby, and I remember there was one part that movie takes place in like 1925 or some shit. Back in
the like rum running days.
When Spider-Man Lotus would have been a hit.
Yes.
I forgot what I was gonna say. There was a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio is looking out of a window and he hears the party outside and it's playing music from 2014.
Yeah, so
you know?
there's gonna be a bit of like anachronism in that way that I think people like. If my parents went to go see this movie, they would have problems with the like remixes and not necessarily like the modernized music, but like what you said, where we're not getting the straight Elvis songs in the way that you expected them to hold anchor points to the film. Yeah. So I thought it worked.
There was one bit where they did that though, and that was his protest song. Mm-hmm. You know, Here Comes Santa Claus.
Famous protest
song, Here Comes Santa Claus.
They are going to play.
I looked up the real video of that, and they did that really well. And Austin Butler's voice, you know, he trained for a while, for I think almost a year before they started shooting to get his voice, like just speaking voice, also to sound like Elvis. And like I've listened to some of Elvis's music since watching the movie, and dude, that guy's voice was literally one of a kind.
Yeah, he like. I mean, And I think, okay, so that, I did not get the emotional appeal or the emotional like pull of the Elvis music and performances. I think all of like the movie focused too much, and I know this will be a little bit weird, but it's like it focused a lot on the physicality of his performance because that was the big thing for Elvis. But I think it, was incorrectly balanced. Like you have a lot of Elvis music, his actual like vocal talent, his like all of the musicality of it rather than the performance, that it didn't give me that like, aside from the last thing, the very end where it showed the clip where it like splits between Austin Butler and actually Elvis at his final performance. Like that was the only one where I was like, oh, yeah, there's the weight.
The one thing that I did find to be interesting, because I don't really know too much about this, was Elvis Presley's life in Hollywood. And I like how there's no way Elvis just lived on the lot in a trailer. You know what I mean? Like, but like, once again, that's this guy's interpretation of it. You know what I mean? That's how he's seeing it go on. Mm-hmm. So I guess, like how many movies did he have? He had a bunch of Hollywood movies.
Yeah, he had a ton.
And he had like really good movies and groundbreaking movies, and then eventually they just started putting him in anything, right?
That's what they talked about. They were like, we are gonna do shit. That's pretty much like throughout. You can see like the Colonel's like impressions and influence and all of this, where it's like Elvis wants to be the next James Dean. Yeah. This is Elvis's dream. He has this. They make it happen once really well, and then the Colonel is like, how can I exploit this? And you just see that like repeated throughout Elvis's career.
Yeah.
So, he's making a bunch of shit movies no one cares about. He's doing a Christmas special for a sewing company, to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So
instead he did the protest song. But yeah, I mean, stylistically, I think was the thing you can criticize the most. But also, I've never seen a movie told like this, like well. Like I know Great Gatsby had these qualities to it too. However,
this was like over the top.
Yeah, turn it up to 11.
It was because of it being his fever dream. And, the whole thing about the Colonel is, which is fucking hysterical, is that like all of these snow jobs that he's doing, they just say that like 50 times.
It used to be my word.
Snow job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what a snow job is, right?
Now I know what a snow job is.
Yeah, exactly.
If you got to ask.
Snowman keeps snowing. Like
Snowman does it again. But
can you do the accent for Tom Hanks?
No, I don't think I will.
What was that accent?
He was from Holland.
He was so
from Holland.
He's that weird. He's so repulsive too. The prosthetics he's in, like he looks like
he looks like the Penguin.
Fahrenheit 9/11. What's his name?
Fahrenheit 451.
No.
Oh.
The guy, Michael Moore. He looks like Michael Moore.
I thought he looked like the Penguin because they had the prosthetic for his nose where it just kind of like slumped down.
Yeah, and then whenever there was like a profile of him, that honker was really it entered the room before he did.
Big old gizzard of a neck kind of going on. Yeah, he does. There's a lot of
Michael Moore. There's
a lot of overlap with Michael Moore.
I saw him on Real Time, and since his chin becomes his neck, his makeup line stopped right here.
Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah.
It's like no one blended it down enough.
Yeah.
I did like seeing the kind of going back, like there's a lot of weird use for how the story was told. Like there were things where it was like, when he was in Hollywood doing the movies, it was like the beginning of a show or the beginning of a movie. It was like starring this and him, like the way that it was creatively using the storytelling.
Yeah,
I think helped keep the movie really engaging.
Yeah,
because you get the differences between like 40 to 1970.
Yeah,
around that. You get different stylistic choices throughout all of that, and it's chopped up in a way that makes it like it's a long movie.
Yeah,
it's almost 3 hours long, and I think the way that it's done in that really helps kind of continually move it along, and it doesn't feel like you've just segmented portions of his life. It helps it flow really well. Kind of like, through time in that way. How do
you feel it paid tribute to his influences?
That's a good question. I don't think
Because-
it touched that. Like,
Well, it kinda did,
Sorry,
like,
from
in-
his influence,
yeah.
like not how he influenced.
Yeah. Not how he influenced pop culture, but I mean,
I did like, like you had BB King, you had Little Richard, you had a couple of like those other famous, old school like R&B kind of, like
also like the
megastars.
churches that he was in as a kid,
Yeah.
and like that helped him like move out of what.
I liked in the beginning when like his friend goes to pull him out of the church and he's like, he's got the spirit in him now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I thought those scenes were good, and those were real musicians and real singers, and they all sounded
Yeah, that was
really
Gary
fucking
Clark
good.
Jr. was the dude that he's like peering through.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's Gary Clark Jr.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I know Gary Clark Jr. was in it, and I think that's him because he has a high ass voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the musical performances were great. Like the acting, the singing, like how he sounds that much like Elvis is very wild to me.
Yeah, the later stuff isn't him though. That's Elvis.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, the early stuff though, that's Austin Butler.
it sounds great. Like you can definitely tell too. Like when he's doing the original recording of whatever that singer's song is, like the first time he's recording it, son,
Yeah.
and his voice is high as shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's Austin Butler. Like,
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
singing that.
So yeah, overall, I think this is a great biopic. I think if you want to definitely check it out, it's not like hilariously funny, but there is fun moments in it. It's not like super dramatic, but there is quite a lot of drama, and it doesn't feel slow, but it's definitely 2.5 hours
Yeah.
for sure. There's a lot in there that they cover.
It's done in a way, and it's gonna like tell me if you got this. I felt like a lot of the movie is done like a trailer for the movie.
Yes.
Like it feels like that.
That's the pace we're talking about.
Yeah.
I've heard you could have trimmed 20 minutes out of this movie.
You could have definitely taken some shit off, and there were elements of the movie where I felt like you were kind of dumb, or like it didn't need to be. Like when he's getting high in his hotel room and just shooting out the TVs and everything. I know that's to show like his decline and like his mental state.
Yeah.
But it's like you only want to touch on that a little bit, and you want to like do a whole thing with that. It's just like all of that is weird. You get the whole visualization of Elvis almost as like, because it's from the Colonel's view, but you get it in a way that is kind of cheap. I feel like,
I think you're right. And at the end of the day, my only criticism would have been more sex, more drugs, more rock and roll, more Priscilla. Like those are the things I wanted to see.
more rawness about it as opposed to, the Colonel showing the, the snow job about it.
Like he only had one girl in his bed one time. Get the fuck out of here, dude. And then they a couple times he was hinted at doing drugs, and it's just like, no, dude. Elvis used to fucking house drugs. Okay,
like-
he was the guy who did drugs for a long time. Like, I wanted to see more performances, but I wanted to see how they changed, like what it was playing on the radio and what was this, and like because Elvis had a big cultural movement. He was making those women feel something they had never felt before.
That they were guilty for feeling.
That they were guilty for feeling.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to see more of that. Like that, those bigger on those, but this was more along lines of like the business and how this guy fucked over his career.
It was, I still think it was done with too much of a, like a happy lens.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's fine. It's you get it from the whole, like, the whole thing is him justifying that he didn't kill Elvis, basically. It's the whole point of the film is him being like, I didn't kill Elvis. It was love that killed Elvis.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you took all of his money and you had a doctor fucking pump him full of morphine to sleep on a plane for, like,
Yeah.
you killed Elvis.
You were drugging him like a fucking track horse. Okay. Like
ketamine.
uppers, downers.
Yeah, but I think that's such a weird
Elvis
lens.
could barely stand.
Get him in a bucket of water and he goes on that stage
The most
tonight.
important thing is that man performs on that stage tonight.
That's pretty good.
But I do, like I said, I loved when he was talking about I saw Elvis one more time. Was his final performance, and he could barely stand. I want to be like, because of you.
That's what, like, and I do love at the very end, though it kind of gives him his comeuppance. Like, Elvis, well, yeah, you want to talk about that where they're just like, Elvis died. Like,
Oh yeah. The plane flies away. Like they beg because at that time he was like 38, 39.
he was 40.
No. He was 42 when he died. But when they're asking him to go to rehab, he's in his late 30s.
Yeah, he's like close
And-
to 40.
Yeah. And they said, please come on, like you're gonna die if you keep doing this. And he was like, nope.
Yeah. He's passing off his kid between him and Priscilla.
Yeah.
And he gets in the plane and, waves to everybody and
Lisa
flies
Marie.
away. Yeah. And then it just does a grease where everybody flies up.
Oh my God.
Flies away.
And then
it's
a
just
paper comes up.
Paper. Elvis
Newspaper.
dies at 42. I was like, wait a goddamn minute. I'm not going to see Elvis die on the shitter. What did I come
I'm
here
not
for?
seeing him eat the 12-inch, like, triple bologna bacon peanut butter jelly sandwich that was like 10,000 calories. Do you know he, like, did that?
Wait, what?
Oh, here, I'll pull it up, but I don't know if in his ending days, he was eating something like upwards of 10,000 calories a day. That's why he just that's why his heart gave out when he was taking a shit, because his cholesterol just, shot through the roof.
Is there pictures of it?
I don't know if there's pictures of it, but final meal calories or something like that. Here. So a basic element of Elvis's daily food intake was a 30-centimeter long bread roll stuffed with bacon, peanut butter, and strawberry jam. Each one had, this is also from abc.net.au,
Oh, I'm
so
seeing
I don't know.
it. I'm seeing it.
Each
right
one
now.
had 42,000 calories, and he ate 2 of them a day. I
Oh my God.
don't think that could be right.
Well, I'm seeing right now
42,000
That's-
Elvis Presley's lethal 12,000 calories
I'm
a
seeing
day
that.
diet. His waistline tripled in 5 years, and I'm seeing a picture of him left and right at the beginning and the end of his career, and Elvis looks like an old Karen.
He's got like a meatloaf vibe about him. Like,
Look at this.
Priscilla, give me the sandwich.
Help! I'm being threatened by a bird watcher. Can you please send the police? And then this looks like a guy who fucks. Okay.
You are not wrong, though.
Okay, this lady thing gets fucked. This guy does the fucking. Okay. There's
I'm
no
so
doubt in
glad.
my mind.
Oh, if you scroll down, someone's got like a recreation of the sandwich he ate.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Look at this shit. Imagine
Whoa.
this big fat fuck right in
2
your
of
face.
those a day.
Yeah.
That's
So it's peanut butter. What else?
Peanut butter,
Crazy.
jelly, bacon. Like,
What? Does that even taste good? We should try the Elvis
PBBJ.
sandwich.
you want to, we could make an
We
Elvis.
could definitely make an Elvis
a
sandwich.
PBBJ.
yeah.
Yeah, this one says it's probably more accurate. These are the dishes he ate as part of his lethal 10 to 12,000 calorie a day diet.
Fried peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Have you ever had one of these?
No.
They're
Banana.
fucking delicious.
And he would just eat these?
They're great. They're not too bad. Like if you just like,
If I had Elvis money for a personal chef, I would just have him make me just healthy ass fulfilling meals.
the sandwiches are really good. Like if you take like peanut butter and like banana and you just kind of like toast it up on the
Elvis's
stove.
sandwiches, man, they're fucking great.
10 out of 10.
So it's from Elvis's Kitchen, meatloaf, 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 cup of
this is
onion,
pretty.
1
This
cup
is
of
pretty standard.
bell
for meatloaf.
pepper. But still, this is just for him.
No, that just is a meatloaf recipe for him. Like,
The ultimate meatloaf lover.
From Elvis's kitchen.
And meat were
He was not
Presley's favorite.
cooking.
By all accounts, every meal he ate was either some sort of meat, whether it be roasted beef, ham, steaks, boneless chicken, hamburger steaks, meatloaf, and of
Wait,
course,
hold on.
Presley loved everything that had to do with
scroll
bacon.
down. Read right underneath the picture.
Elvis's party meatballs was the name of meatballs he wrapped in bacon. Another one of his favorite sandwiches was burnt bacon crumpled on top of mayonnaise, canned black
fuck
olives, and
that.
chopped pecans between white bread with its crust. Yo, honestly,
That's disgusting.
honestly, why didn't we get Fat Elvis in this movie?
I
Now
think
that I'm thinking about
we
it.
we got like slightly heavy Elvis.
Yeah.
A
right
little
at the
bit like
end.
with at the end, but I also love that it
no,
was
but
like,
that wasn't Austin
no,
Butler. That's
they,
actually
they
Elvis.
had him. They had him, and then they switched to
Yeah.
the Elvis shot.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
But in the
gotta
car,
watch it again.
in the car when he's like passing off his daughter,
Huh?
and it was like, all the news headlines were like, Elvis is hating his expanding waistline and da da da,
my God.
and I was like, he's
That
still
hurt
like
me.
10 fucking pounds in that shot. Like he's
That was like the first time that you see him wearing a sweatsuit, though, which is like the
Yeah.
first step into your decline. your juicy velour sweatsuit.
A typical Elvis.
Getting on the plane where you see his ass and it just is juicy.
A typical Elvis
Yeah.
morning snack was 4 scoops of ice cream with 6 chocolate chip cookies. On top of that, he would eat coconut cake made by his following his
mother's
beloved
recipe.
beloved mother's recipe every night.
Made by
And
a
during the
fellow.
Italian, Presley would
Had to
sip
be
on
made
his
by
favorite
somebody.
sodas: Pepsi Cola, Orange,
Mrs.
Shasta
Nesbitt.
Black Cherry, which he stocked the fridge at all times. He also liked ice cream sandwiches, which of course, bacon, sour cream pound cake, lemon. How do you say that? Meringue pie, and fried pickles.
I got you, bud.
Jesus,
Yeah, so,
did
like-
he not know anything about nutrition, or
Fuck
was he just
no.
like, fuck it, dude, I'm a rock star?
Yeah, I mean, he just was doing a bunch of, drugs, so he was just detached and he was filling his void with eating.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's
really sad.
it is sad. Yeah, he was only, I didn't realize he was only 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my head he was a lot older,
Dude,
probably because he
Priscilla
looked like
and-
hell.
Priscilla and the daughter are still alive.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Priscilla's 53.
I found out
Yeah, because
that
there was like a 10-year age difference between them or whatever.
Priscilla, so Lisa Marie's daughter
Priscilla.
is Riley Keough, or whatever. How do you say her last name? She's like an actress.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's Keo.
Oh yeah, she was in Zola.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Priscilla's granddaughter. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
The scariest and most dangerous weight loss program Presley was ever put on was Sleeping Beauty diet. When you
sleep
sleep,
and
you
don't,
don't eat. So Elvis took sedatives to sleep for hours on end. He even pushed it so far when a doctor put him medically induced coma. Needless to say, the diet didn't help with Presley's problems.
Okay, so there's why, like it's again because it's just like a doctor is like, you know what we should do to get you thin? Put you in a fucking coma.
Elvis never did lose the weight, and the last thing Mary Jenkins made for him was a cheeseburger. Who the hell's Mary Jenkins?
I don't know.
In less than 5 months, Elvis Presley would be celebrated. Oh, in less than 5 months, Elvis Presley would have been an 87th birthday.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn, yo, Elvis had a crazy
Oh,
diet.
Mary Jenkins Langston was a cook for Elvis Presley.
Oh, she did this.
So yeah, I mean, well, Elvis is just like,
Elvis, you sure you don't want a vegetable?
what do you think was in that dish? Was it bacon?
I'm good.
Is peanut butter a vegetable?
It's peanut butter. There's peanuts in it.
Is butter a carb?
Is butter a carb?
Okay. So yeah, what would you give it? 1 out of 10. I give it like 7.5.
For how it is, that's not a 4. I'd give it like an 8. I think I don't think people who are like Elvis, longtime stans are gonna like the movie because it's not straight Elvis music and it's not just like Elvis glorification in that kind of way, which I think a lot of people wanted. There were people crying in my theater. Did you have that? Did you?
No, dude, just some motherfuckers love Elvis.
Yeah, I was like walking out and like, cause there's no, I don't think there's a post credit scene. Google is there.
I wasn't gonna
Sequel.
stay to watch one.
Yeah,
Elvis
so
doesn't need a post credit scene.
I get like I'm getting up and walking out and I just see these like people just like in the back like.
Dude, it was a time in their lives.
And I respect
It was
that.
a time
but-
in their lives. They were fucked up. They were young, and they were watching one of the greatest entertainers of all time.
Hey,
And now they got kids who have grown up and left the house. They bought them this A-lister shit to see the fucking Elvis movie. And now they're just reminded that their life has been a waste.
I did not think that deeply into this, seeing them cry, but sure.
What about you?
I mean,
what would you say?
I'll be honest, like I cheered up at the end. I'm human. Like I'm not even like a huge Elvis fan, and it still affected me just because you could tell from the movie like how much he would put into his performances, and like he really gave his all, and like I get emotional when I see that, like performers that like really put everything
don't hold
into
back.
it, and like just knowing how much of an icon he was, and like how sad it was that we lost him so soon, and just wondering like how music might be different today if he was around longer. And I mean, I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't what I was expecting, like I said, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good way to tell the story, even though it wasn't like we really like we were saying, we really didn't see a lot of his downfall. It was kind of like rise, and then like immediately downfall.
Normally
like,
it's up the first half of the movie, and then it's down the second half.
Like shit hit the fan real quick.
Like I was expecting like you ever see Blow with Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
I was expecting that where it's a rise, fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was not. But either way, yeah, it was good though. If you're interested, I'd check this out for sure. If you're a big Elvis stan,
even if you're not,
it might be the best one you get. So.
It's a fun movie, and it definitely made me want to like listen to more Elvis music again.
Yeah,
like he's still a predator, so I'm not.
Jesus.
So I was not exactly like, you know what? Let's listen to more Elvis.
Oh, I have another question though. I don't know if you guys thought about this, but so we all know that like his influences were black musicians, but like, did he ever give them credit? Because he was just straight up playing their songs, but did he ever say
did he
like
Led Zeppelin it basically? Like,
oh, he didn't write those songs?
Are you no?
No, like in the movie, they were. Like the people he was hanging out with, like in those clubs, they were singing the songs, and then he would sing the same songs as at his shows.
Yeah,
like Hound Dog, like that woman was singing it, and then he played it at his show. And,
oh, right.
Yeah.
It's they did that all the time. Back then, it was a lot more.
Well, the whole
common.
reason why he checked him out was because he was white too. Remember?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. So this says, Elvis recorded more than 600 songs in his career, but did not write a single song. It says it's impossible to confirm, but he was given co-writing credit on a lot of songs because I guess like the label, how it was done. I don't know if that's correct. That's from Playback FM.
Back in the day, it made more sense to find somebody who could sing and perform, and then you just have people who do all the songwriting. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there are probably a lot of big artists who don't write their own material.
Well, it's the kind of thing with like all of that early like R&B and like blues music. You just kept playing and redoing different styles of it, and like even the songs that like got popular from one artist were covers of this or like a redone of the original. Like I said, Led Zeppelin before. It was like a lot of their shit is like directly stolen from like old black musicians.
Spirit, that band that they stole Stairway to Heaven from.
That, and it's just a lot. There's a lot
really?
of.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they touched on. We talked about this before. They touched on them a bit. The movie touches on it a bit. That makes so much more sense now.
Well, but like it wasn't a thing where he was like, "I'm going to claim I wrote all these songs." It's all about him performing the songs. Is what it was.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, I'd still give it a 7 out of 10. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I would also give it a 7 out of 10.
7.
Yeah.
7's all around.
I'll drop it to a 7. It was 8, but I'm like, we'll give it a 7.